Welcome to the 70th lecture of Control System and PLC. So, today we will discuss about the classification of PLC. In previous lectures, we have already studied about what is meant by PLC, what are the types of PLC, the evolution of PLC, the advantage of PLC over conventional microcontroller, the main blocks of PLC, function of each block of PLC, which are the input output devices of PLC, and the speed of execution of PLC. So we have gone through all these points. Now today we are going to cover the classification of PLC. So as we know that like other controllers, PLC also has classification. There are types of PLC. So there are major two types of PLCs. One is called the unitary PLC. It is called as the shoebox PLC. Unitary PLC. And second is the modular PLC. Modular PLC, again there are three subtypes of modular PLC are there. First is the small PLC, second is the medium PLC, and third is the large PLC. So these three are the subtypes of modular PLC. So as we know that there are two types of PLC. Unitary is also called as shoebox PLC because every block is fitted in a single casing. That's why it is called as a unitary, single, or the shoebox PLC. And the second type is the modular PLC. As the name suggests, separate modules of each block of PLC is there and they are connected together using connecting wires. So depending upon input, output and application, there are three subtypes of PLC are there. One is called small PLC, medium PLC and large PLC. So we'll study all these types today. So first is the unitary PLC. As it is shown in the diagram, you can see that every single component or every single block of PLC is fitted in a single casing. That's why it is called as a unitary PLC. Uni means single. Okay. So it is also known as a shoebox PLC or micro PLC. It has its own power supply, CPU, limited number of input outputs. These input outputs can be 20 maximum inputs and 12 maximum outputs. So maximum 32 IOs, that is input output, can be there. It is mainly used in small industry for control of small systems or a standalone system. It has compact structure which includes CPU, power supply, limited number of input outputs. So these PLCs are very cost effective for a standalone PLC. So there are one or two examples of unitary PLC like Micrologix 1000, and it is manufactured by well-known company Allen Bradley, or a Simatic 57. It is developed by the Siemens company. So unitary PLC, as you can see in the diagram, it contains the sockets to program the PLC. It has internal CPU, memory unit is there, its own power supply is there. So all these blocks are fitted single inside to this PLC. That's why it is called as a unitary. And as it has very less number of input output, so obviously it is useful for a small scale industry which has to perform some dedicated tasks repeatedly, but the number of input output requirement is less. So if you go into the market and you purchase a large PLC, but your application is very small, means your entire system can be designed in suppose 10,000, and if you have to purchase large PLC for that, then obviously cost will be tripled, or it will get 4 times 5 times of your single system. So that large PLC is not useful to you because the function of large PLC is different, and you have to perform suppose dedicated or a standalone task. There you have to use the cost effective PLC. So these cost effective PLCs are nothing but the micro PLC, that is unitary PLC. It has maximum 20 inputs or 12 inputs. So outputs, sorry, 20 inputs and 12 outputs. So these are the low cost alternative to the normal PLC. for a standalone system. So Micrologix 1000 and Sematic 57. So these two types of unitary PLCs are available in the market. Getting? So this is your unitary PLC. I hope now there is no doubt in this. So we'll move on to the modular PLC now. So modular PLC, as the name suggests, different modules are there. As you can see in the diagram, that modular PLC, the many racks or mountings are there which are connected together. As you can see in the diagram, that single racks are there, vertical racks are there, and these vertical racks are connected together to form the entire unit. And now, depending upon the input and output, there are again three types: small PLC, medium PLC, large PLC. Again, the memory capacity of each PLC is different. So this figure shows modular PLC. As the name suggests, the modular PLC are one that can be constructed using separate modules such as power supply, CPU, input outputs, timers, counters, EDC, DAC, communication module, expansion module. Means, unlike to unitary PLC, this modular PLC has this much types of modules inbuilt to it. So it has a separate power supply module, separate CPU module, separate input output modules are there, timer counters are there, ADC DACs are there, communication modules are there. As you know, the vertical racks are shown there. So there is a need of communication between these racks and the CPU. So communication module is there. Expansion module. If suppose your PLC has 100 input output, but still you want more number of input output modules, so expansion modules are there. With use of it, you can increase the number of inputs and outputs. So this is your modular PLC. So the basic structure of modular PLC is a rack mounted structure. It is also known as the base plate or the chassis, in which number of slots are there. These slots are connected to CPU or printed circuit board with plugs fitted at the back end of the chassis, known as the backplane. So each module and CPU is plugged on backplane, and backplane then convey the signals from or to the CPU. So depending upon number of input output or the memory, they are classified as small PLC, medium PLC, large PLC. So small PLC has limited expansion capabilities and has limited inputs and outputs. So typically it has 20 inputs and 12 outputs, and they are mounted on a rack. Additionally, up to 100 input outputs can be connected. So as we discussed, modular PLC has expansion slot. So it can additionally add 100 input outputs. So we have 32 by default input outputs. So we can add up to 100 IOs to that. So it can cover units up to 128 IOs and memory up to 2 kilobyte. And it is capable of providing simple to an advanced level machine control. Simple to advanced controls is provided by this small PLC. Small PLCs having less than 100 inputs and outputs, referred to as unitary PLC. So these has memory up to 10 KB to store the user program. So this small PLC has input output. By using expansion slot, you can have input output up to 100, and it has memory ranging from 2 kilobyte to 10 kilobyte to store the user program. So small PLC in modular PLC is nothing but less input output and less memory size to store the program. Now medium PLC has input outputs, CPU, power supply as a separate module, which can be easily fixed or removed from the rack. Unlike to small PLC has all this in a single module, and expansion module can be connected to it. But medium PLC has separate input output devices, is CPU, power supply as a separate module, and they can be fixed or removed from the rack easily. So this PLC can support special function modules like analog modules, counters, timers that we have already discussed. So these PLCs are moderate in size as compared to that small and large PLC. They are moderate in size. So it is bigger than small PLC, but this PLC is smaller than the large PLC. So it has up to 2048 input outputs. See, a huge number than small PLC and unitary PLC. Unitary PLC has 32 input output. You can add 100 more to small PLC by using expansion card. But in medium PLC, you have input outputs up to 2048 and memory up to 32 kilobyte. So this much program size can be loaded into the memory. So this is a medium PLC. Okay, so next is the large PLC. So large PLCs are the most sophisticated units of the PLC family. They have up to 8192 input outputs. So almost 4 times than the medium PLC, and memory is up to 750 of kilobyte, almost near to 1 MB. One thing there is to note that you will say that kilobyte of memory is not huge or not a big deal, but in term of program, because whatever program of 100 to 100 lines you will write, it will fit in only 1 or 2 KB or 4 KB or 5 KB. So remember this, that 750 of kilobyte of memory means in terms of program it is a huge memory. So this memory can be added without disturbing the existing program. Means suppose one program is already loaded in the PLC, you can load another program by not erasing the previous program into the memory. So obviously, as the number of input outputs are high, memory size is high, so obviously cost of the PLC is obviously high. That cost may up to lakhs. Listen carefully, the cost of the large PLC may be in lakhs. So it has very flexible nature. This is low maintenance type of PLC. Most of the large PLCs are manufactured by the Allen Bradley and Texas Instrument. So they manufacture the large PLC. One thing you must notice in medium and large PLC that expansible or additional racks can be fitted to it, so that you can increase the number of input output to the PLC, or you can increase the memory of the PLC by connecting the additional or expansion cards to it. So these are the types of PLC. So these modular PLC are most commonly used in industry because it provides flexibility, it provides additional input outputs. So modular PLC are most used in most of industry, but in small scale industry, unitary PLCs are used. The size of modular PLC is obviously larger. It can cover entire room of your house, like, or in unitary PLC the size is very small, the cost is very small, complexity is very less, maintenance also very less. But in modular PLC, flexibility increases, cost also increases, maintenance as such you can say that maintenance is less. Obviously PLC is there, so maintenance obviously less. So this is the modular PLC. So basically there are two types of PLC. One is the modular PLC, second is unitary PLC. And modular PLC there are again three types: small PLC, medium PLC and large PLC. So these three types of PLCs are there. So this is the basics of PLC, and this is the topic which to be covered under this lecture. So thanks for the today's lecture.